This week on TQA Weekly, I explain why the bigger the fan, the heatsink, or the radiator, the better. This is TQA Weekly. I am the host, Steve Smith, aka ZAxis. If ever you have any technology questions, comments, suggestions, or stories, email me at ask@tqaweekly.com or head over to my website, tqaweekly.com, and head over to the contact section. Of course, if ever you want to know about the show notes, the resources, other downloads, even other places you should watch this episode, tqaweekly.com/se3ep27 will bring you to today's show notes. Today's topic is about fans, heat sinks, and, of course, radiators, since we're going to be talking about size and how it matters to our computers. So computers and their components generate a lot of heat while they are powered, and this is the reason why all computers have had heat sinks and fans on at least the power supply and the graphics card, as well as the processor, for the better part of like 30 years. And unlike the power supply, the processor and many of the other components can have their fans changed. Fans come in many different sizes, they have different blade designs, some fans work better pushing air through radiators and heat sinks. What they all have in common is their ability to push air more effectively and with more volume the bigger they are. Radiators and heat sinks are no different. They also come in many different sizes, shapes, and thicknesses, and the bigger and thicker they are, the more likely and the better job they will do at dissipating heat away from your internal components. The only catch to this very simple primer is that for most of you that have never done this before, installing them correctly is what you need to learn. And we got a really big fan to use as a prop. So this is a Cooler Master fan, one from a half-X box, since I did swap them for clear plastic red lead ones, so it actually looks pretty mean in my box. Now, first things first, we need to understand the directionality of the fan. The open side is where the air is drawn through. Regardless of the blade design, virtually every fan on the market breathes air through the front, being the open side, and exhaust through the back. The correct position to install any of these fans are as follows. The front of the fan, the open side, should be facing the front of your computer. So much so that when you look inside, you should see the back plate. Same thing for the inside of your actual side panel. If you have a side panel and you install it in the side panel, looking from the inside out, you should see the back plate. The back of the computer, where we normally have a fan, you should be seeing the open side. This allows for air to travel through the front of the box and out through the back effectively. Most computers only have these three options. If you are lucky enough to have a computer with air ducts on the top, when you install them, it would be the closed side facing up. That way, taking advantage of physics with the hot air arising, being drawn through the fan and out through the top. Again, we're taking air going into the computer, being drawn out the top, allowing for better heat dissipation from the box. Doing so correctly allows you to maintain a lower ambient temperature, and having a lower ambient temperature allows any radiator or heatsink to work better by allowing it to operate at a lower temperature, keeping the components at a lower temperature. And the cost benefit here is the fact that the pieces themselves will actually last longer. So that is why we need to correctly install them in the correct position. Besides that, that's all you really need to know. So when you're looking at your computer box, some do give you many different options of fan sizes. Try using the bigger sizes first That will give you better airflow and more airflow. And if you install them correctly, air should be traveling from the front of the box to the back of the box, or from the side of the box to the back of the box. And of course, if you have air ducts at the top, air should be escaping through the top, not breathing down into the bottom of the box. So just make sure you keep the airflow in its correct order and use the biggest fans, radiators, or heat sinks that you can actually install on top of your computer and their components. So that is a very, very simple primer. As part of my show notes, I have actually put the link for the NCIX YouTube channel where Linus actually goes into more detail about some of these specific fans, and he does have some very interesting suggestions on heat sinks, radiators, and fans that you should use in those projects. So if you want to go a little bit more into that, I'm just giving you a primer. Next week, another primer, I talk about PCI Express, and I will help you figure out what you can do with it, the different types of slots, and what you can buy and use in these slots and how they basically work. Thank you for listening to TQA Weekly. Show your support by liking this episode, subscribe to get our latest episodes as they come out, and share with friends and family who may benefit from such a show as this. You may send us your questions, comments, suggestions, and or stories to ask at tqaweekly.com. For our show notes, links to our Android application, alternate means of subscribing to our show, and information on joining our weekly newsletter, head over to tqaweekly.com. Stay safe and online, and have a great day.